Denny's tagline is America's Diner, and for more than 70 years, Denny's has been serving the masses here in the United States with breakfast and lunch favorites. Favorites like this. We're gonna dig in and then we're gonna talk to Kelli Valade, who's been CEO for Denny's for now 3 years, and she's in charge of driving this brand into the future. All right, good opportunity is any to get into Denny's. Let's talk about it. From the outside looking in, when this position becomes available and you learn that it's a possibility, what's your perspective of Denny's at that point in time and what this role could be?
As a CEO, I think you can come in to an assignment from the outside. It's different than growing up and getting a CEO gig when you're inside the organization. And for my positions that I've taken on as CEO, I've come in from the outside into that role. And I think you have to go with the grain. So going in and pushing something uphill is even more exhausting, but it can be futile if the culture really isn't there, or isn't right for that kind of leadership approach. And so I could sense and knew that Denny's really would not only welcome it, but that I'd be able to do good work here. And that really spoke to me. The idea of being America's Diner for today's America spoke to me. I think it's a position and a statement we can make that not everybody else can.
You guys really, I think, found some success in the virtual brands. Tell me a little bit about that strategy and what you've learned from it.
Absolutely. What was unique for us and what is still unique for us and why it's the right strategy for Denny's is that the customer is totally different. There's literally 1% to 2% overlap between the dine-in customer and the ones we get that shop us virtually and digitally. And so knowing that, and because 75% of our restaurants are open 24/7, we've got fixed costs we can leverage. We're not trying to close at 9 or 10. We know we're going to be open. We know there's somebody there. Most of our digital sales and virtual brand sales come at night. And they are a very different consumer. We can see that by the demographics. We can see it by the difference in household income. And so we know there's not that overlap. And nighttime and even late night is when we really do need those customers. So it's informing and changing a day part that isn't our strongest day part anyway, and we've got fixed costs we can leverage. So it makes perfect sense for us.
Also, don't want to skip over Kikis here, which is again, that acquisition happens right about the same time you come in as CEO. Sort of two-part question about Kikis specifically and what you're able to learn with this brand as a sister concept, I guess you could call it, to Denny's. But then also more broadly, what it tells you about the competition and the family dining category, breakfast and brunch in particular.
For Denny's, when I joined, it was a month after was when we literally signed the deal. So I didn't have much to do with actually bringing the deal to the table. And I initially thought, we both sell pancakes. How is this going to work? And quickly learning about the brief and learning about everything that went into the acquisition and why strategically it really did make a lot of sense. We have franchisees that have other brands. And so giving them an opportunity in penetrated markets like LA or like California, places where we have a lot of Denny's, it provided us with an opportunity to go to those franchisees and say, don't go with another brand outside of Denny's Corporation. We've now got Kikis. And part of what the due diligence that had been done prior to me joining was talking to those franchisees that wanted to keep growing.
Breakfast may have been the day part that was most affected by COVID. A lot of major companies are asking employees to come back into the office. I'm curious about your perspective of the opportunity in the morning day part because of that shift in consumer behavior.
Reacting to and pivoting and making sure that we've got things for the PM snack day part, if you will, 3 to 5 in the afternoon, making sure we strengthen our late night menu and do different things late night is all part of it. But we are starting, we can see, and everybody serves breakfast now. So that's the other part of it. When you talk about that competitive intrusion, there's a lot of brands that serve breakfast, and just making sure that we are doing everything we're known for and leaning into our equities and creating craveable options is the key.
You've had to make some difficult decisions recently. So recently you announced you would be closing a number of locations, and I think that the headline can get, a little murky when you talk about closing locations, but you were careful to point out that this is sort of course correcting. Walk me through that thought process as a leader to make a decision like that.
Sure. It was absolutely a really difficult decision, weighs on all of us that have been involved in making it and in support of our franchisees and with our franchisees, alongside our franchisees. We actually started well over a year ago in talking to our franchisees and looking at the entire portfolio and saying what kind of course correction or reset needs to happen or should happen to help us be healthier, more profitable, stronger going forward. So I actually appreciate the question. And so we announced that when we had already were well underway with the strategy. So it wasn't out, we're going to close 150. It was, there's probably a total of 150, 87 last year. And there's probably 80 somewhere in there this year. But the goal was always, it's a long-term goal. We put out a 5-year plan and said, this is a reset. We still open a lot of locations for Denny's. You know, we still open multiple locations. We've opened in international markets, and we opened a lot last year. We just closed a few as well. So it's a reset. We're not the only brand to have done it or even doing it right now. And yet it's been a bit hard to kind of get past the soundbite of this many locations. But it's after this year, back to net growth for Denny's, modest growth, but back to net growth for Denny's is the goal. And then pretty aggressive growth from Kikis, you'll see from us.
Sure. Jensen Huang, who is the CEO and co-founder of Nvidia, which is now the most valuable company in the world. Of course, they are powering the AI revolution. Started as a Denny's dishwasher. That was totally, I did not know this. You guys did a big thing recently. And this was so cool because he says, and you pointed out on his LinkedIn, he's got 2 roles, and that was Denny's and Nvidia. First off, what does that mean for Denny's to be that like represented as, hey, we gave this guy his start?
He talks as if Denny's is still, it's a big part of his life. And then as of late, we were finally able to do something really cool and name these breakfast bites, the Nvidia breakfast bites after him. I'm going to show you how this is done. Okay. So this is the Nvidia breakfast bites.
That's right.
Pretty simple. Pretty simple.
All right, let's do it.
You got to build it like a little,
Start
like pigs in blanket, a little taco.
Okay.
Start with that. We need syrup, though.
Just, okay.
Yeah.
Like so,
that's
like a taco,
it, but you're
or
gonna
do I
want
need to roll?
You can roll.
Okay.
It's up to you.
How did Jensen do it?
Jensen would roll it pretty tight.
Okay.
And this is what he did when we were at the event. So now we got it rolled, Sam. All you do,
up. Yep.
All you do is dip it right in there.
Okay. And then take a big bite.
We gotta get it all together.
Get the perfect bite. So this is the Jensen Huang special.
Nvidia breakfast bites. BYTES.
You know,
important.
It's simple, but it's delicious.
I almost double dipped.
That's where you turn it around.
I'm turning it around. We'll get the other side.
There you go.
I want one more bite.
All right. I know, that is so good.
There you go. Isn't it delicious?
Who knew? He was a smart guy.
He's a really smart man. This is his favorite dish. He came to our franchise convention, and in this case, they reached out to us and said his GTC, his Global Technology Conference, I think there's 18 to 20,000 people that join and go to that conference every year to listen to the next big thing in AI. And his team reached out and wanted to have a pop-up or have some kind of Denny's event. We have our beautiful mobile diner that we drove out from South Carolina to California to do this event. And we worked and flipped pancakes together. He was talking a lot of smack on the diner to me about his pancakes being better, and he flipped them better. And then he came out and just shared them with the crowd. So it was absolutely amazing. So there's relevance in this brand, and it still finds its way into mainstream culture. So Jensen's one of my favorite stories about it. The determination, the grit, and now the amazing, pinnacle in the tech world that he is. That's just outstanding. And so it speaks to the resilience the brand has, the relevance the brand still has, the mainstream place it still holds in people's minds.
I'm curious about what kind of culture you're trying to develop and impart at Denny's. Is it drastically different from the culture Denny's had before you arrived? And where do you see its direction going into the future, the culture of Denny's?
There's nothing wrong with our culture today. Culture is the way people think and act, and culture is what people are doing when no one's looking. We have a people first guiding principle. We have an own it principle. We have a win together principle so that it breaks down silos. Silos are easy. They crop up when you're not even paying attention. And for us, leaning into team and leading with team in more and more was important. And the last one, be bold, has to do with staying focused on what the biggest priorities are and acting with urgency. Round 2, new maple stuffed donuts. So these are amazing. Maple syrup inside, so be careful. They tend to, they'll ooze right out at you.
So lean over the table is what you're saying.
Also served with, you've got this. I find you don't need it, but here's a little amazing.
A little sugary dip.
Okay.
There you go.
Maple stuffed donut.
The sound effect on that.
A lot of crunch.
Oh, man.
Okay. And if we need to wash it down, these are messy.
They are messy.
We need to wash it down. We got our new Slammin' Sodas.
Okay.
So let's see what we got.
What's a Slammin' Soda? What are we dealing with here?
Slammin' Soda is basically, can I say, it's a dirty soda.
Okay.
And a dirty soda, this is basically going to be Sprite. If you want to stir that up, I don't want to touch your straw. You want to stir that up. You're basically talking about Sprite and like a vanilla cream. Okay. Just like you'd put in your coffee. So think cream soda. And a little bit of lime on top, as you see.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, it's really good.
Isn't that great?
I mean, and that's what I love about this. I mean, it's a different beverage occasion. It's not my coffee. It's not my soda. This is like the afternoon pick-me-up.
This is an afternoon pick-me-up. Maple stuffed donuts and a slam and soda. What's wrong with that?
I can do that every day. That's for sure. I'm gonna take another bite.
All right, because you're my tester right now. We're gonna give you 2 more.
Oh, sure.
Dr. Pepper. This one is Dr. Pepper, I think.
Oh, that's good. I feel like this is something I gotta slam it.
Last one, Coca-Cola.
This is the Coca-Cola. All right. It's a good way to drink a Coca-Cola right there.
They're so good.
Thinking about menu innovation, I mean, you constantly think about, obviously from a marketing perspective, you have to come up with these fresh new ideas. What does that process look like for Denny's?
Well, the process is a long process, right? But it starts with what's in the main, like what are people talking about today? And dirty sodas have kind of made a bit of a comeback. You see them out there. Our version, Slam and Soda, has just made perfect sense. And we are trying to think about different day parts. Think about that mid-afternoon snack. And these things are perfect. Either maple stuffed donuts are perfect for a starter, if you're with your family, or you want an appetizer, if you will. But then these sodas are just a treat. They're just a treat and a different, probably, occasion, like you said.
Yeah.